YouTube this time around. All right, let's see. Okay, all right, YouTube. The volume is back. The volume is back. So thank you so much. Again, I'm going to briefly start over since I was just in the middle. So if you are coming in here and you are re-watching this, then please bear with me if you are on Facebook, because I'm starting this over on purpose because my volume for some reason was not working on YouTube. So here we are. Thank you so much for being here. I am Marshawn Olanio. I am a shift relationship strategist, and I specifically serve and help Black professional women using tailored strategies depending on where they're at in order for them to create thriving relationships. And I say relationships because we work on the most important relationship under the relationship with you and your creator, which is the relationship with yourself. And then if you are in a relationship, in a romantic relationship, then we work on what that relationship looks like. So what I was asking is, what have you learned about yourself over these past 2 weeks of coming here, getting the information that you need in order to up level your life so you can become a better dater? Now, today we are talking about voicing your needs and why expressing your needs is not needy. It is something that each of us needs. So I am going to start over just so, again, the people on YouTube can actually hear what I said. So many of us Black women have grown up learning that strength is our superpower, that being the rock for others is what makes them valuable. This conditioning often comes from watching the women that have come before us, like our mothers, our grandmother, and even our strong aunties. But what we don't realize is that many of them silently carried the weight of their families, sacrificing their own needs for the sake of others. It is a legacy born out of necessity, but it can also leave us believing that asking for what we need is selfish, or even voicing our desires risk upsetting the delicate balance of peace. We're often praised for being self sufficient, for enduring pain without complaint, and for putting others' comfort above our own. But in 2025, that's not what we're doing anymore. Because let me tell you something. When we do that, suppressing your needs to maintain peace is not true peace. It's a silence that slowly erodes your sense of self. Being perceived as strong shouldn't come at the cost of your emotional or mental well-being. When you communicate what you need, it creates a partnership between you and your partner. Again, it creates a partnership between you and your partner, and you want to be able to do that. You show that your feelings matter and deserve consideration just as much as your partner's does. True strength isn't in suffering quietly. It lies in acknowledging yourself to receive the love and care that you deserve. You are not selfish. Please repeat after me. You are not selfish. I am not selfish for wanting my needs met. You are, excuse me, you are simply human. You are not selfish for wanting your needs to be met. Each of us in our relationship should expect our needs to be met as long as we have communicated them. Because in healthy relationships, there is room for both partners to support one another while maintaining their individuality. But by expressing your needs, you set the standard for how you expect to be treated in your relationship. This is why voicing your needs is not needy. It should be something that you go in as a standard to set the standard, but as a standard, you should be able to go in and voice your needs, the things that you expect within reason. Because if you're out here dating, on the first date, you don't want a laundry list of things that you should be doing, that your potential partner should be doing, and what they should be giving to you and what you're not going to take, and all of these things that make you come off as too strong. And when you come off as too strong, you're not seen as somebody that he would want to lean into, someone that he would want to bring into his world. So a lot of you need to allow yourself to unfold gracefully. You need to let yourself unfold gracefully. You don't want to go in too strong because then you are going to turn him off. And here's the thing, you don't have to come in really strong when you know what you want, when you know what you need, when you know what you desire. What are your expectations? So when you know all of those things, you don't have to go in barking orders on your first date. You just have to pay attention to how he is showing up, the things that he is actually saying, the conversation, how you actually feel on the date, how he is treating the waiter or waitress, how he is making you feel, as I just mentioned, how he is treating you. Those are the things that you should be paying attention to when you first start dating. So all of the vibrato that I know that some of my clients have brought on the first date is something that you don't need to bring on the first date. And quite frankly, my hope, my prayer is that you never have to show up in that manner, because you want to be able to stay in your feminine. You should hardly ever have to be the masculine one with your partner or spouse. Now, does it happen? Absolutely. None of us are perfect. It is going to happen. And a lot of us, Black women, have had to be breadwinner, i.e., breadwinner, as well as showing up as the masculine partner for a variety of reasons. And I won't go into any of those reasons here today, but just know that it is not just pulled out of thin air where a lot of Black women have this masculine feature about them. It's not just pulled out of thin air. But again, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about voicing your needs and why it is not needed to do so. So I have 5 reasons why voicing your needs is a sign of strength, not weakness. So let's jump into those right now. The first one is clarity strengthens the relationship. The clarity you bring is the clarity you will get. Please write that down if you are taking notes. The clarity that you bring is the clarity you will get. Clear communication eliminates assumptions. Clear communication eliminates assumptions. When you voice your needs, your partner now has the blueprint in which to add to your happiness. Helps you feel heard and seen. Notice how I said adds to your happiness. I did not say that your partner is going to make you happy. He should not be there to make you happy. Happy comes from internal. Happiness is a choice that you make in everything that's going on in your life. Each of us has life that be lifing. Life is coming for us at some point, at some time. And when you're in a relationship or out there dating, you don't want life to be on your shoulders, meaning that you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And because all life is keep busting you in the head, now everybody around you has to feel your wrath. Why? Why? You think that you're the only one that has some problems? You think you're the only one that life is getting to in this moment? Because you're not. You're not. You're not. So we have to become emotionally mature with our emotions, right? Become mature with your emotions. It is a must. You cannot let the weight of the world to bring you down, and then your attitude brings you down. Literally, your face is brought down. You're kind of slumped over. Everything about you is just down. That is not bringing the light and love that you want to put out there into the world, so others can become attracted to you, so they can see your light, they can feel your light, and even ask you, what makes you you? Why are you always so happy? That is the type of energy. Now, am I saying that it's going to be across the board like that day in and day out? Absolutely not. Life be lifing with all of us, but you're not the only one where life is lifing. And so you have to go in with clarity, because clarity strengthens the relationship. You give the person the blueprint when you have clarity. It does not mean that they're going to buy into what you're selling. It does make it easier for yourself, because you have, and you're giving the other person the blueprint to how you would like for them to show up. What makes you tick? What makes you lean in? What makes you want to be around him even more? So you're giving them the blueprint when you are speaking up and asking for what you need, and being clear about that. It helps you feel seen and heard because you're giving them the blueprint. He will know what's important to you, which helps him love you correctly and support you in the ways that you desire. Listen, A lot of times we get upset when we feel that our partner is not loving us the way that we need to be loved. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you have not given him the blueprint on how to love you. I know that many of you have heard about the five love languages before today. It's not nothing new, right? And so have you two, and or if you've never done this should definitely be something that comes up as long as you feel like you are feeling this person after you have decided that you want to continue to see this person. Now you need to express how he can actually show you love the way that you need it. And maybe in the beginning you're not labeling it as love, but you can totally let him know what makes you lean in more. As I mentioned, is it gifts? Because gifts may not be your thing, although it could be, but just allowing him to know what you need so that you can lean in, so you feel more comfortable, so you actually feel seen and heard, is a part of something that you should be doing. So sharing the things that you need, whether it's quality time, right? It could, like I said, it could be gifts, it could be quality time, it could be words of affirmation, blah, right? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever your thing is, so he can show you love the way that you need it, you need to voice that to him. So being clear will help you get to the next level a lot faster. But it'll also allow you to see, after you have expressed who you are, what you want, what you need. After you have expressed these things to him, now you have to sit back and just wait and see if he's going to deliver. If this sounds like something that he can actually live up to and wants to live up to it. Not that he's playing games. He wants to live up to it. So he wants to lean in and give you the things that you want because you are clear. Men absolutely want to make us happy. They absolutely want to see us smile. Men want to be our heroes. So the more that you can help him win with you, the easier it will be for him to lean in and give you what you need, especially if he really is feeling you and the both of you are feeling one another. So the second thing that is needed is your needs are valid. You don't have to justify your needs or shrink them to make others feel comfortable. What matters to you is valid simply because it matters to you. Period. Okay, you need that again. What matters to you is valid simply because it matters to you. Period. And the thing that matters to you absolutely should matter to him as well. Anybody that you are in a relationship with or dating, this is one of the things that you should be paying attention to. Is what you say to him, does what you say to him matter? Does what you say to him matter? Is he listening enough for him to take action on some of the things that you just said? I remember I actually have a client right now that I'm working with, and her boyfriend actually listened to some of the things that she was just randomly talking about one day, just randomly, just some of the things that she wanted to have, some materialistic things that she wanted and that she liked, right? Not that she was asking for a gift, it was just part of their conversation. And when her birthday came around, he gifted her several of the things that she just mentioned in passing per their conversations. So he literally made her feel seen, made her feel heard, but also it took a whole lot for him to take that information, store it away, and then do something with it. So that's what you want when you are out there seeking the right or correct mate for you. If he's able to lean in, hear what's important to you, and then take action. His action in this case was getting her several of the things that she mentioned in passing for her birthday that was coming up. And so, of course, she thought he was really thoughtful. Of course, she had a big cheesy smile on her face. And of course, she even told several of her friends and then me as her coach as well, because we needed to celebrate the fact that she did a really great job at being choosing, but also being chosen. Noticing that your needs are valid. Absolutely, your needs are valid. They are important. And so this is why you need to speak up for yourself. The third reason why you need to speak up for yourself and why voicing your needs is not a weakness is because communicating your needs is an act of self love. Communicating your needs is an act of self love. When you express your needs, you affirm your own worth. You tell yourself and your partner that your feelings, boundaries, and desires matter. Self love sets the foundation for healthy relationships. Self love sets the foundation for healthy relationships. Again, that is the relationship where I hone in on to make sure that you, as my client, starts to work on, starts to put time, energy, and effort into you, into learning more about yourself, into looking at your weaknesses, literally and figuratively, in the mirror, owning them, recognizing that they're there. So you're owning them, and then finding ways, tailored strategies of what's working together, of how to start to eliminate those things. So at some point, they become the past. They no longer are your go to habits and behaviors that you were once doing. They are now in the background, and or if and when you have practiced these things enough, they are now in automatic or on automatic. So you don't have to really think about them. They're just your go-to now. So the toxic behaviors, or the behaviors that kept you stuck on the merry-go-round attracting the same type of guy, is now have it has now been alleviated because you've practiced doing the thing so much, by inserting the new habit, inserting the new behavior, and getting rid of the old one. Communicating is an act of self love. The fourth reason why speaking up and voicing your needs is important, and is a strength and not a weakness, but also important, is because silence breeds resentment. Silence breeds resentment. Unspoken needs can fester into resentment. Resentment is a deep feeling of bitterness and anger that arises when someone feels wronged, unappreciated, or neglected over time. It often stems from unmet expectations, unresolved conflicts, or suppressed emotions, especially in relationships where one party feels taken for granted or unheard. You don't want to feel these feelings. This is why you must speak up, because silence breeds resentment. When you bottle up your feelings and emotion, it's only a matter of time before frustration takes a toll on the relationship. When you express your needs, you prevent this. You, number one, prevent the resentment from even taking place, but you also allow your frustrations to go away, because now you are actually speaking up for the things that don't sit right with you. And anytime there is silence in the relationship, it actually breeds distance. I was actually in a relationship like this where it was silent treatment. That was my punishment, was the silent treatment. And absolutely, just exactly what I just said is what happened. I was frustrated in the beginning. I had no idea what was actually happening, that the silent treatment itself, it was something that was brand new. I had never heard or experienced that. And so when it was happening, I'm like, well, I know he can hear me. Like, I'm literally talking to myself. And so he just wouldn't express himself. So I literally was like, in the beginning, when it first started occurring, I was just like, hey, so are you gonna actually tell me what's happening with you, so we can actually work through this thing, so we can talk through it and really figure out what's actually happening? And it was literally silence. Like, I was not talking at all. And after it happened a few times, because it did happen a few times, literally, I just was feeling more and more distant and frustrated. And then I started being petty too. That's exactly what ends up happening. Both parties act very immature. Even if you don't want to do this in the beginning, at some point you start playing the game. I made a decision I didn't want to play the game forever, because this was in my marriage. And I was like, I'm either going to decide to divorce or I'm going to decide that days, weeks, and even months, hear me, months at a time, we may not have any communication. Marshawn, are you okay with that? And it took me a long time to answer that. But once I answered it, I was just like, that's an emphatic no. This is not something that I want to. If he never changes, if he never changes, ever, ever, ever change, are you going to be okay with days, weeks, months passing with no communication in the same household? Is that the thing that you want to model to your daughter? No, no, that's not what I wanted to do. So I had to make the tough decision to end the marriage. It wasn't easy, but I totally had to make a decision. Is the silent treatment healthy or is it more toxic? Do I want to stay here in silence, even though I'm in a marriage and we're raising a child? Do I want her to see that this is normal? It's not normal. So even though I was speaking up and voicing my needs, I was trying not to be silent. After a while, I started playing the game, the silent treatment. I didn't want to do that. It's not healthy. It literally is toxic behavior. And I also didn't want to lower myself down to that level for an extended period of time, because did I do it? Absolutely, I did. But then I just realized this is a part of him. This is a part of him. And this is not something that he is willing to work on. And it's not something that I'm willing to live with until I die. So there we are, divorced. You must be able to speak up for yourself, because silence breeds resentment. And it doesn't feel good to be on the other end of the silent treatment, especially when I am a problem solver. I'm trying to understand what's actually happening. Mm-mm. If you are the person, if you are the woman watching this who does the silent treatment, I would highly encourage you to never do that again. It's not helping your relationship. It's only harming the relationship. It's keeping the both of you more separated than together. It's allowing all of the stories that you're making up, as well as your partner is making up, to fester. And by the time you think about coming around, maybe he just don't want it no more. Maybe she just don't want it no more. Who wants to be a part of a toxic relationship like that, where days, weeks, months at a time, you may feel very lonely? Not healthy people. Let me say that. Healthy people are not going to engage in that for too long. They're going to move on. They're going to move on, as I did. So you must be able to speak up for yourself and understand that if you are the partner that loves to use the weapon of silence, I highly encourage you to stop it, because at some point you will lose the person. At some point you will lose the person. The fifth reason why speaking up and voicing your needs is not needy is because boundaries protect your peace. Expressing your needs involves setting boundaries. Boundaries are essential for protecting your peace. They create clear guidelines about what you will and will not accept in your life, helping to shield you from unnecessary stress, emotional turmoil, and toxic behaviors. Boundaries are not about shutting the other person out. They're not, although they can be, but they're not designed for that. They are about letting the right people in while you maintain your well being. Boundaries are not about just putting up a wall with any and everybody that comes around to you and with you. Boundaries are about opening up the door to the right people, to allow them into your life, to allow them into your space, to allow them into your what do we call that, bubble. When the people in your bubble, you should feel like you're not going to be judged, you're not going to be shamed, you're not going to feel any guiltiness from them. They're there as your support system. They have seen you at your low and still are there to ride or die for you. You need to be able to use your mouthpiece in order for your relationship to be healthy, in order to feel like you are seen, in order to feel like your voice is heard, in order to feel like your partner truly understands who you are. And if that's not occurring, there's a problem. There's a problem. Being scared to speak up for what you want is never healthy. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you silent about the things that are important to you. You do not want to continuously show up and it's on the tip of your tongue. I want to say something, but never do. You are killing any chances of any change to occur in your relationship. You have to be strong enough. Know that you have the power to speak up and actually do that. Tough conversations are never easy. That's what they're called, tough conversations. Difficult conversations, tough conversations, whatever. But being able to speak up for yourself empowers you. It lets you know that, you know what, even if I say this today and the relationship ends, I had to speak up. I had to. Now, timing and all that stuff comes into play as well. But overall, if you are noticing the same type of behavior where you feel like you can't speak up and ask for the things that you want and need in your own relationship or with the person that you're dating before you even get the title, if the person that you're dating is always taking over the conversation, never is allowing you to speak, I highly encourage you to start paying attention to that now. Because just imagine getting into a long-term relationship with this person and he likes hearing himself talk and he just likes you filling up the space because you are filling up his void in some way. That's not what we're doing. We're not placeholders in 2025. That's not what we're doing. We're not placeholders. You want someone who can understand that you do have a voice. You can speak up for yourself. You actually know what you're doing in your life, but it would be great if you can have somebody there together, walk this life together, build a legacy together. And you're not out there trying to put yourself out there for everybody. You don't need everybody. You need one person. So, voice your needs starting today if you are dating and or in a relationship, because I challenge you to speak up. That's my challenge to you, is speak up for yourself, for the things that you want, for the things that you desire. Also, for my people that are keeping up with the journaling, write down one of your needs that you have been suppressing and practice sharing it with someone close to you. Start small if you must, but start. But start. When you advocate for yourself, you set the tone for how the world will treat you. Thank you. Thank you for coming here today. I really appreciate it. Share this video with someone that you know who needs to hear this. I truly appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I will see you for tomorrow's live. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye now.